Welcome back to another CobbelCraft episode. Today is episode 8. Crazy. Today's main goal is to start the actual works on the manor. Yeah. Yesterday we had Shane hop on and it was pretty awesome. And later today we'll also go take on a trial chamber. Today should be a pretty simple day. We're just gonna start the build. Yep. No hesitation. Just gonna get straight into it. Thankfully, Shane yesterday got me a bunch of this deep slate so I can turn it into the correct variant so I can actually start the works on the building. Designing a building like this is not exactly complicated. I just have to make sure I do it right the first time because I really don't want to be making my builds all over again. It looks pretty good for an entrance. So I'm gonna repeat this a couple times to make some windows. Hopefully it looks pretty decent. I don't really have much of a plan per se, more like one big idea that I hope works. But you know, that's the thing with building. You kind of have to figure it out as you go and hope and pray for the best. And I think it looks decent. Remember, this is the front of a house, so it should look welcoming. Structure is probably one of the most important things in this game. You have to know where things are supposed to go so it looks correct. If your structure is off, the whole building's going to look off. Let's be clear. Right now, I am not doing anything in terms of detailing wise. It's going to be a flat wall, and that's on purpose. The point is so that I can give myself room to kind of think about what I actually want to do with this front area to make it look like the front of a manor. These stone bricks look more outwards. I need to think of a window design. I need to do a lot of different things. But with this simple outline, it lets me look at the build from a specific start. A lot of people jump into the build and they think, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. And then they get there and they start and they actually have no idea what they're doing, which I have no idea what I'm doing. But I know my planning. I know how I build. So I know how to put myself in a good spot rather than build a big structure and then go, I don't know how to detail this. Also, a good thing is to get inspiration from yourself. Right here, this was a building I didn't really know what I was doing, but I found my groove and I started. So, I want this building to be the, much older, but bigger building of this, because this is kind of this is kind of old. So that means I'm going to have to dull down the colors, make everything darker, but keep the same kind of trapdoory shelf style in order to give the effect that I want. But, with that being said, being a good builder is knowing your imagination. If you can picture something in your head and put enough brain power into try to bring it to life in Minecraft, then I'd say even if the build doesn't look, amazing, you're a good builder. Because no matter what, if whatever was in your head that you tried to put on a canvas and it worked, then you're a good builder. And don't let anyone else tell you you're not, because you succeeded in trying to make a build that was yours. Not anyone else's, yours. See, things like this, right here, right? Like I'm looking at it, and now glass panes didn't work because they look like this, and I didn't know that. So that's obviously not going to work. But the glass blocks look much better. However, it just kind of sticks out. And not saying it doesn't look bad, but there's like no support. I've also realized that I'm going too dark immediately because the dark oak is supposed to be like, dark spots. Like if the sun was hitting it, that would be dark. This would be lighter. But it's not. So I need to put things that make some of the other colors pop more. Normally I don't show these parts in videos because I thought to myself people wouldn't like to see it. But then I had a thought the other day is that, I do a lot of time lapses, and the time lapses are great for recording wise. I can fully show someone a build, and it's not hard to understand. Like they get it. It's pretty easy. But the thought occurred to me the other day that what if someone was watching my video and has no idea how I built that, right? Not no idea is and how to build it, but why did I build it like that? So today we're going to do a no time lapse because I want to go over like some things, like what I'm doing right now. So we have started the flat wall, but now we have to add depth to the flat wall, because even though walls in real life are kind of flat, if you look, most architecture is not flat. Most things either have lots of curves, edges, or designs. Now, you don't have to add that for every single thing, but for me personally, I don't like looking at a flat wall, and most likely neither do you. Like right now, the build could, probably be complete. But since this is the front part of the build, I gotta make this look great as possible. So I've added these little things, and I've noticed that there's not really too much color going on. So to break things up, put a line of mangrove logs so it gives me a little bit red of color, so that way, it doesn't look all just one singular color. See how it breaks things up? It looks nice, but it's not too clashy. But now that I got this red part in, I have to decide on how the overall shape of the building is going to look, which is a really hard part. So, just to walk you through my thought process. Now I have a choice, right? I have a couple of options floating in my head. One, completely wall off this, right? Make it like 3 blocks tall, put another roof over it, and then I have a second floor on top of that. 2, continue the red theme and make a red section of the floor. It's options like these that I have to keep open, because I'm trying to think as 1, it's a building, 2, I'm thinking about game design. Remember, this whole building is not exactly for me to live in, it's more for me to design a game. So when they come through here, the game officially starts, and they have to make their way throughout. Now, I could give myself more space or less space, and some might think, well, wouldn't that be obvious, more space? Well, no, because one thing that I've learned is that I need to scope out how big a project actually needs to be. I don't need to make a huge thing and not complete it. I don't need to make a super small thing and not fill it with anything inside. The main thing I need to be focusing on right now is how big does this actually need to be? And secondly, how big do I actually want it to be? Because sometimes smaller is better in terms of interior, because you have more room to be creative, and big rooms are kind of hard to fill. And see, right now I ran into a problem, right? Because I decided to, not exactly line this up in creative and whatever. I faced a problem of unevens, where something I did on this side was even and worked out great. Something I did on this side, however, wasn't. Now, thankfully, I was smart and I made a fix before I even made the mistake. I made a little separation, which is good, because then I can do things like this, where I can separate the build without it looking off. And this is where, in my opinion, the build gets fun, because now I can decide on where I want the actual shape to be. You see, I know I want a layer going up here and coming across. I know I want a similar one here, but I definitely want on this side this layer to be higher and more sturdy, rather than this one just being one straight layer and more flat, because I want them to look at it like this, and I feel like this way should be up because it's bigger on the bottom, and this way should be a little shorter because it's smaller on the bottom. Sometimes I also just get in the groove of doing things, like right now. This is good. Sort of. I definitely need some more stone, but I'm going to do stone brick, so when it goes up, it will get more foundational. If that makes sense. And then I'm going to push this side out one, just because I feel like it could use something to give that extra little kick. It's been an interesting thought process on this video, because I've never really thought before how to explain building without just showing building. I am hoping I'm doing a decent job, but honestly, it's all guesswork from here. And if you don't like this style, my bad, I guess. Just trying something new and different, and sometimes that can work first try, or it won't. So if you have any suggestions, I guess, if you want to see other different type of content in terms of build wise, let me know, because I'm always open to people's opinions, because I think they have a different view that I can't see. Now, like, it's clips like these where you actually have no idea how long it's been, Yeah, it's been like half an hour, maybe. Possibly half an hour. Because it took me so long to get this simple pattern in line. It looks so easy, and it's because it is that easy. I went through so many different ideas on what I actually wanted. And of course, settling for this option was, well, what I needed. That is one thing that in Minecraft, kind of annoying. When you go in without an exact plan, you're gonna face times that are really easy and really easy to build. Other times, not so much. And you know, one of the best parts about building something that looks good, you get to stand back and actually look at it. Now, I can kind of see what I was going for at the start. You know, I got to bring this up in that way and keep this at this level. But I need copper. And, you know, the best thing about being on a server, we have a shopping district. Meaning our diamonds are actually useful. And I can spend it on things like copper. And actually, I'm going to need a lot of it, so I'll probably get this much. I also need to get some deep slate from the stone shop. Yes, the shop that has claimed most of my diamonds. Now, I don't need too much stone, but these are where you get diamonds. So you go do these things and support the economy, and also just be useful. Now, I could use some wool. Now I think about it, because I don't really use wool that much, but maybe I save wool for the interior. Yeah, I'll come back when I actually know what I'm doing with the inside. The only thing is that my shop doesn't make anything, because people don't really need wood. You know, I thought they would. I get it, but they just don't, and that's unfortunate. So I need to come up with a different scheme that makes me money. Now, I did come up with a pretty good scheme with this office building, and people could pay me to make their rooms, and I've done that once, but that's a different story for another day. Now, what should we do, right? We could either dark oak this, slabs on top, or we can jump straight into it and do this copper style roof that I did on a bunch of these trains. I'm thinking maybe we go with that, because, you know, it does make the area kind of connect, but this was supposed to be different. Maybe we do the dark oak here, and then the copper here. Trying to, okay, let's just break this down from a video perspective, because now I get to, kind of talk about this. Yeah, not recording time-lapse, it's gotta suck, because, I want to fill the video up with as much things as possible, and unfortunately for me, that means, yeah, bud, you actually have to be good at commentating and speaking that makes things exciting, which you know, I'm not the best at, actually. I mean, despite I've been doing this now for 8 months, and I have gotten so much better. I was actually looking at my past videos, and oh my god, some of them, I don't know how you guys watched them, but you know, maybe that's just because it's me and I see, you know, the flaws, which is probably true, because realistically, I guarantee there hasn't been, I mean, I'm sure you guys have noticed somewhat of a change, but to me, it's just like, oh my god, why'd I do that? Why am I like that? You know, but I mean, yourself really is your biggest critic, because like, I guaranteed that if I would have like said some of the things I like some of the things are like so small, it's like, why is that scene going on for so long? Or like why just why in general, like why did I include that in the video when like nothing is? But like, I think I forget that like I was just starting, and I'm still kind of doing that. There are some times where I look back on a video and I'm like, man, if I can edit better, oh, it'd be great. But that's why I'm at where I'm at, because I have not upped my game yet, and that's on me. That's on no one else but me. I've been looking at my videos recently, and I've been kind of abusing time-lapsing, because it's easy. It's an easy way of recording something, but I don't know how much enjoyment you guys actually get from it. But leave a comment down below if you like the time lapses, don't like the time lapses, because I'm like really curious. Because when I see a time lapse on a video, my immediately thought is to skip through it. But What if, on the other hand, that's like not the case at all? You know, like people will stay and watch it, which is like, you know, probably something I should look out for, you know? Like, I could be losing a substantial amount of people if I get rid of time lapses. So just let me know, because I'm generally curious and I have no idea myself if that's like the right move or not. So, you know, I would generally like to know. I mean, look at this. So far, the building is coming together. It took me a little bit to kind of get my groove, but now that I'm kind of going, I kind of understand what I'm doing. Because I don't know if I'm liking the white or not. I don't know if I should replace it with a darker color, because I feel like it's supposed to be like a gloomy town. I feel like white really makes it stand out too much, but not in a good way. So maybe let's replace the white with like, just to give some variety. But yeah, I think that looks much better. You know, it's darker. It doesn't do too much. But one thing that I'm looking at this, I'm like, why does this look so much different? Yes, this is good. But do you think it, like, why are these black and these aren't? So we're gonna see what I can do. I just fell off the roof and died. But actually, this gives me a good point to talk about it real quick. So I think right there, I want the red, but I think I put walls, right? Like, so that the red still pops, but I don't lose the color. Oh yeah, that made it look, it definitely connects the building more without it being too much. So right here, I kind of realized that this looks a little too bland, right? Like compared to this. This is so much darker than this. And I think it's because I use stone. So I don't know what I need to do to reverse that effect. Like, I'm trying to look on this building. Like, I don't know why, but this looks so much brighter. And I want it to be darker. So I'm going to try adding some extra little things that don't make it so symmetrical. Like, I've thought about the fact that maybe I should be using leaves, right? Like, obviously I'm not getting, I've done like zero like texturing, you know, making dark spots be darker in one area, making light spots be lighter in others. But I also haven't used like leaves to my advantage at all. And leaves are great. They can give you that pop of color without it feeling too dark. And they can also give me that, hey, detail, and they can give me, I mean, they can do a lot, but they can also give me that darker feel that I kind of want. Full bright does kind of make everything brighter on purpose. Obviously, I know that. There's something else telling my brain that something's wrong. And usually when I have that like feeling, I try my best to listen, because usually my brain knows like something's off and something needs to be fixed. I mean, I don't know what. Like, I don't. I have no idea like what could be the problem. But my brain is identifying that there is a problem. And so that means I need to fix it somehow, either by making a bunch of blocks darker or doing something. There has to be something that my brain is like triggering me, like it's actively telling me, hey, this is wrong, or this looks slightly incorrect. Maybe tweak it a little bit and it'll look better. Leap. I think one thing I am forgetting is that there's supposed to be a gate here. So maybe I should put that in before I make any, like, oh my god, before I make any big changes. Like, maybe I put the gate in and do that first. Like, dude, like, these are great blocks, and I just haven't thought about them. I'm gonna spend some time here and collect some stuff. You know, being in the nether kind of made me realize something. I probably should get netherite. I don't want to, though, like, at all. Like, it's kind of strange for me to say that, but I have no interest in getting netherite. But maybe I'll like get some TNT and have some fun with it at least, or maybe I'll go with Shane and see if he wants to get netherite. I don't know. I just don't really care for it. I also have to go out and find a bastion with an upgrade template. I really don't want to do all that, and that sounds like a lot of work. I mean, I will. I guess we'll see. I'll think of a design. Okay, this is what I've cooked up so far. And you know what? I am progressively getting happier and happier with the build. That feeling that I've had that something isn't looking right is slowly going away. Iron look better, like the thing. Also, I don't know if I should use iron or if I should use the copper. Like, I used it over here, right? I feel like this is fine, and then I can use like the iron maybe on like the actual blue and red parts, not just this. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. You know, I'm so glad I got that basalt, because look at it. It looks great. It kind of looks like it's supposed to be there, or like the mud like piled up. But yeah, it's making the manor front look much better. I mean, look at this. Look at what we're cooking. We're peak. We are in peak right now. The designing is going great. I think it was this gate. Didn't mean to rhyme, but whatever. Maybe adding some of these like branches probably help. I don't know. I don't want to like do too much. You know? Okay, the trees are done. I think that's all the trees I'm gonna add. Now I'm just gonna like sprinkle these leaves around everywhere. I mean, like, look at this. Like, this is a perfect entrance to the manor. And I think that's all for today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode so much, please drop a subscribe, or like, or comment. Any would be appreciated. Now let's look at this in not full bright. This is exactly the vibe. Oh my. This is exactly the vibe I was going for. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you liked this video, make sure to subscribe. I'm really trying to hit that 1,000 subs before the end of December. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next CobbelCraft episode. I am done.